20 years and over, 12.5% unemployment rate. There's a reality. We're unemployed. What's another reality, Professor Carter? Why are you here? Our matrix moment. Business ownership. When you look at your business, when you look at your community, two realities strike you. One, we don't own the businesses in our neighborhoods. True. We don't own the businesses in our neighborhood, yet we patronize these businesses because they are products and services that we will buy. Hair care products, fast food, businesses located within our communities that we don't own. The highest business ownership rates are owned by non-Hispanic whites at 46% and also Asians. Look where we are, 5.1%. Hold it right there, Professor Carter. The reality is we don't own businesses in our community, and the numbers don't lie. Business outcomes. When we do own businesses, how well do we do? A stat. There was a poll done by Radio 1 and Black Study America that polled black consumers. 64% of the black consumers polled said this, that they would rather or prefer to support businesses that give back to the community. I contend this. People who have small businesses hire people who look like them. So if 64% of the people polled contends that, hey, we want to support businesses who give back to the community, what better business in our context than an African-American owned business? Here's the reality. The average sales for white-owned businesses, approximately $440,882. African-American owned businesses, $77,364. Next slide. 40% of all black-owned firms fail. They have a 40% black-owned negative profit. 26% of the black-owned firms fail, or have a survival rate, rather. So our dialogue or our rhetoric is not matching our actions. Realities. Why are you here? Reality. Public policies. First slide, Professor Carter. Federal level. Great Recession of 2008. You are here because the anger you feel is when you hear about AIG being bailed out. The anger you feel is when you hear things about the car industry being bailed out. The anger you feel is when you hear that CEOs and workers on Wall Street who screwed up everything are still getting these bonuses, but no one's giving you a bonus to pay your mortgage. No one's giving you a bonus to pay your unemployment. No one's giving you any kind of support whatsoever. The Great Recession of 2008 teaches us that public policy has an impact on our wealth. It's a reality. This healthcare debate is something that, if we don't get it right, will not only shape our realities today, but shape the futures of our youth and our next generation tomorrow. The state level, MAP grants. Illinois has cut back its funding to college-bound students in the form of MAP programs, which are free financial aid, not driven by grade or income, but they've cut back the funding for those things. This affects us. Go to the next one. Local level, the 2016 Olympic bid. Now, I had a good conversation with Bonita Parker. Bo knows everything. No pun intended. When you think about the Olympics, typically, okay, let's take it out of the context of Chicago. You think about the Olympics, you think about this majestic event, okay? For 2-3 weeks, the whole world is captivated by the Olympics. And you go home and you watch. But for some reason, that same feeling of optimism and eager anticipation doesn't resonate with people here within Chicago. Why? And here's the thing, and it's just me, my Curtis Mondayism thinking out loud. It bothers me, as I have my matrix moment, it bothers me that you can come up with millions and millions of dollars to get this Olympics here, but you can't come up with money to fund our educational system. You can come up with millions and millions of dollars for the Olympic Games, but you can't help provide jobs for our incarcerated when they get out. Something's not right with that picture. This is our matrix moment. One more, a reality. While you hear the real big thing is all this really deals with our wealth gap, the difference between the haves and the have-not. Net worth is defined as taking all your assets and minusing or subtracting the liabilities associated with those assets, and that is your net worth. On average, non-Hispanic whites are worth 11 times more than African Americans. Let's look at the numbers. Median net worth of white household, $67,000. Median net worth of African Americans, $6,000. 45% of African Americans have net worths less than $5,000. Hold it right there. That means you take everything that you own in this world and you subtract everybody that you owe something to, you have a net worth less than $5,000. Like my father would say, you're worth more dead than alive in some instances. Next slide. Spending habits. Some of this, I heard I groan. I hit you, right? I'm about to hit you. Spending habits. I went to a wedding. I told Professor Carter this. I went to a wedding. My little cousin got married a couple weeks ago. And I was amazed at the reception. It's about 175 versions of the cha-cha slide, the Casper slide, the bus stop, the Cupid shuffle. It's about 175 different versions of the little, and I got agitated because how you know all when you know the turn, how do you know all this? But if I polled those same individuals, you couldn't tell me what the annual contribution limit is for a Roth IRA. Or you couldn't name the 3 credit reporting agencies. But you know, our spending habits. So where are we spending our money at? Professor Carter, monthly, we are spending, African Americans, $135 a month on clothes, $81 a month eating out, $125 we're spending shopping online. 21% of us say we shop for fun frequently. Professor Carter? 19% says we make a purchase even when it's not affordable, meaning that we know we can't buy it. We buy it anyway. Next one, Professor Carter. 12% say name brand is a top motivator. Now, I like quality, but there's something that really speaks. That could be a whole other presentation in itself. Why is it that we need to, does that say something about our desire to associate our self-respect and our worth, our self-value with being associated with things like top name brands? That could be, that's your homework, Professor Carter, to come up with that.
Gotcha.
Why are you here? Let's move along. I'm going to segue to Professor Rasheed Carter. He's going to talk a little bit more about some of the economic and financial realities in greater detail. Professor Carter.
All right. Thank you, Curtis. It's hard to follow an act like that, isn't it? But I'm going to try my best here. And my function here today is to basically give you a simulation of what I do at Olive Harvey College, which is teach about the economic realities that face us. And as an economist, one of the nicknames that economists have is as being the bearers of bad news, right? We are a part of what's called the dismal science. So here's some of the bad news. In terms of our economic and financial realities, there are 4 primary factors that we decided to focus on. And the whole idea and the concept behind these strategies is to have this conceptual framework be applicable to whatever paradigm or strategy for wealth creation you might want to create. But nevertheless, the 4 strategies, first and foremost, starts with market psychology. And we'll get into more of that in a second. It also builds on this whole notion of a network imbalance. There are imbalances in the networks that permeate the market amongst different societies of people within our greater society. We also know that public policy plays a very important role, and the reality of public policy and its present-day manifestation is also very important in leading us into the present economic financial situation we find ourselves in today. And lastly, community focus. Community focus is absolutely missing when we have to make, or when we want to make plans to organize ourselves and build proper strategies for building wealth in our communities. Let's get to the